All right, what's up, guys? We got a lot to talk about because I haven't done a blog in like 2 weeks. It's going to be great. So I have to go all the way back to when we went to Bruges. Okay, so first weekend in Maastricht, we decided we were going to take a day trip that Saturday to Bruges, which is just north of Brussels in Belgium near the coast. Bruges is a really, really small town, but it's awesome. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've got pictures on my Facebook if you want to go look at it. And so we went there, and when we got there, we went and had some Belgian waffles, and so mine were covered with cream, which was wonderful. And I had hot chocolate with that, which was great. And then we went to a festival in the town hall there, which was really, really fun. Just a lot of cultural stuff. And then there were a lot of people from other countries. I met a guy from London who collects pinball machines, so that was kind of cool. Besides that, I mean, Bruges is just a really beautiful city. It's very picturesque, what you'd expect. Um, I mean, that's about it for that weekend. And then we had our first week of classes, which was great. I don't have class on Wednesday, so I really only go to class 3 days a week, which is even better than I expected. But unfortunately, on Thursdays, I have a class that's 4 hours from 2:30 to 6:30, something along those lines. It's really, really long, and it sucks. It's interesting subject, but my attention span just doesn't last that long. I don't know about y'all, but I just can't hold a lecture for 4 hours. It's very hard. Uh, but yeah, first week of classes went really good, and then we had Carnival break. Carnival was from Friday until Tuesday, and it's essentially just like Mardi Gras in the Netherlands. Everybody dresses up, goes crazy. It's really, really fun. There's just people everywhere in the town square. It's just a blast. And so we went out and had a great time there. I just bought a Carnival hoodie and a Carnival beanie or stocking top, which is about like 2.5 feet long. It was really, really fun. And then Tuesday, we left for London for our trip for the week, and we got into London that morning. Actually, we hopped on a train at about 5 o'clock that morning, and then got on a plane in Amsterdam. And then when we got there, we were staying at this place called the Green Man, which was a pub slash hostel, which was pretty cool because they had pizza and all that sort of and all that jazz. And the first day, we went and saw Westminster Abbey, Big Ben, saw the river. It was really, really neat. Westminster is amazing. You can just there's so many people buried there or have memorials there, and it's just huge and it's incredible. It's just absolutely beautiful. I wish I could have taken pictures of it, but unfortunately, they don't let you. And then that night, we just kind of hung out, just had a chill night because we were all really, really tired. And then the next day was our only actual full day in London. We went to, I went to St. Paul's and Leicester Square. I also went to Buckingham Palace that day. It was really, really cool. A lot of fun stuff to see. St. Paul's I actually got to go into for free because they were having Ash Wednesday services, but they're still letting people kind of walk around if they wanted to. We also, but here's where the fun starts. This is one of my these are beginning of my two great stories from this trip. Um, well, we were planning to meet at 4 o'clock. Well, communication got messed up, all sorts of things. Um, I ended up waiting in the square for close to an hour and a half. I got in there at 4, and I was going to leave at 5:15. I was just like, okay, I've sat out here. Clearly, nobody's coming. I'm just going to go to the hostel, and I'll just chill there. And I mean, they'll find me there eventually. Um, well, on my way to the tube to go take the tube back to the hostel, a man grabbed me on the arm, and with the other hand, he flashed me a badge. He was with the police. It was really great. And so he walks me over to the wall and he says, um, I've been watching you because you've been looking kind of suspicious because you've just been sitting over there with nothing. And I was like, I lost my friends. I don't know where they are. We were planning to meet here. I've been waiting here for an hour. And he asked me if I'd ever been arrested in the UK before. And I looked at him and I said, I've never even been to the UK. And so, and then all of a sudden, three other policemen come over, and so I'm surrounded by four cops against this wall, and they're checking out my ID and making sure that I'm, safe, all these other things. And one of them makes a crack. He said, "This will be a great story to tell your mates later." And I was like, "Yeah, this is going to be a real great one." So I almost got arrested, which was great. And then, thankfully, I think it was Barry called me. Barry calls me up and said, and because I had tried to get in a hold of her, and she calls me and says, "Hey, yeah, we're actually over here at the Purple Lights by by the square." And I said, "Great," because I don't know where Alex and Drew are. Can I come hang out? And yeah, sure, whatever. And then that night we went and had Mexican food in the square after we found Drew and Alex, and then just kind of walked around from there. So the next day was when we were going to go to the Isle of Man. Um, why were we going to the Isle of Man? I don't really know. I mean, it's called the Isle of Man, which is pretty cool. I actually ended up buying a flag from there because their flag is really, really cool. If you get the chance, look it up. It's pretty sweet. But so I thought the plane left at 4. It left at 2 because I wasn't paying attention and I didn't read military time very well. And so we realized that at about 1 o'clock. The airport's about 40 minutes away from where we are. We got to the airport. Gate closes half an hour before for EasyJet flights. We got there about 6 minutes before the gate closed. So, and we had to switch terminals too. We got into South Terminal, which is where the train took us. So from there, I start sprinting, and so does Drew and Jordan and Alex. And I'm pretty sure I probably pushed over at least one child, maybe an elderly couple. I don't know, but definitely started running really, really, really as fast as I could, and got on the little train to change terminals. Um, Booked it through security as fast as we could, and I just take off running. I was the first one through security, and I just started taking off running for the gate. I found the flight board, looked at our gate number, said, "Okay, that's where I'm going." And so by the time I get to the gate, they're literally starting to close the gate as I'm running up. It's like 2:20, and I said, "I swear to you, my 3 friends are coming behind me. Please, 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 you got to hold this plane. We're all the way from Texas. We just want to go to the Isle of Man." And so we get I get there and I'm standing there waiting, and they're like, "You can go ahead and go on." And I said, "No, I'm going to stay because I'm not leaving without them." Because, I mean, clearly I can't leave them behind, in London, and then I go to the Isle of Man by myself. So Drew and Alex come around in the corner next, and it's like, or not Drew and Alex, Jordan and Alex come around in the corner next, and we said, "Okay, great, one more's coming. He'll be here in just a second." And then they say, "Drew's bag got flagged because of liquids." And so we're like, "It's going to be 2 more minutes. I swear to you, it's going to be just 2 more minutes. Just give us, come on, please, just hold the plane for a little bit longer." And they said, "Okay, we'll hold it 1 more minute. We'll call his name over the loudspeaker." Okay, so we're sitting there and we're waiting on Drew to come. About a minute later, a guy comes up the catwalk and says, "Hey, we've got to board this plane. I've got paperwork to do. You've got to get on this plane. We can't keep waiting any longer for you." As he says that, Drew is rounding the corner sprinting, and I said, "There he is! We're getting on the plane!" And so we take off for the plane, get on. The lady looks at me and says, "Just breathe, go sit down, you made it." And so we got to the Isle of Man. We were staying at a guest house, which is essentially like a bed and breakfast. It was really awesome, owned by this lady named Susan, just an absolute sweetheart. That night we went out to eat at this place called Paparazzi, which is an Italian place where a bunch of famous people have eaten at. Consequently, the guy who plays Ron in Harry Potter, the guy who played Gimli in Lord of the Rings, and John Malkovich and Patrick Swayze have all eaten here and have their pictures on the wall with their autographs. It's pretty cheap and really, really, really good food. And so we just kind of hung out on the Isle that night. And the next day we woke up early, had breakfast, went and saw the castle on the other side of the island. The isle is only 13 miles wide, so it's like 10-minute drive, no big deal. And then we got back on our castle, and we hung out there for a really, really long time on the castle. And then we went and had lunch, went and caught a cab, went and got on our plane back to London. Then that night in London, because we got back pretty late, I went out and explored. I went and saw London Bridge and went and really explored Leicester Square a little bit more. without trying to look suspicious. I saw a guy doing a cappella dubstep and some break dancers. And then went back to the Breakfast Club, which is this awesome place that we had eaten a couple times that week, and they had a bar downstairs through the refrigerator. It was pretty cool. So I went down there and hung out a little while. But the Breakfast Club, it's locally world famous, as it says on their menu. It's a pretty cool place. And then we woke up this morning at about 4 o'clock, caught a cab to the airport, and now we're back in Maastricht. It was just an amazing trip. London was awesome. The Isle of Man is just picturesque as all get out. Just a fabulous time. Anyway, just keep updated on my travels here. You can see it all. Thanks for watching. Bye.